Good morning, everyone. I'm reporter Annie, and I'll be updating you about Laos and Laos' economic situation. The Lao government currently strives to achieve the four macroeconomic objectives, which are full employment rate, economic growth, low inflation rate, and improved equity. Among the four objectives, Laos has shown great progress in reaching full employment rate.
According to 2013 statistics, Laos total population is 6.77 million. Amazingly, Laos unemployment rate is 1.9%. Unemployment rate shows a nation's percentage of people who are in the working age, actively seeking for work but not being able to find a job. Compared to other countries in Southeast Asia, Laos has a very low unemployment rate.
Can be shown on the graph as well.
This is a production possibility curve. This graph illustrates the total output of a country. If a nation is able to produce quantity output at a point on the line, for example, point A and point B, then the nation is producing at full employment level. Since Laos is almost producing in full employment level, we can assume that they're producing near the PPC curve, which is point C.
Of unemployment is the imbalance in Laos' job market. Young people nowadays wish to work in offices and thus create high demand in urban workforce, but low demand in rural and agricultural workforce. Such imbalance leaves young people in both rural and urban areas to be unemployed and consequently rising unemployment level. The imbalance in job market causing unemployment rate fits into the category of frictional unemployment. There are possibilities that young people can alter their demand of job to rural areas and decrease Laos' unemployment rate. Moreover, because Laos is experiencing positive economic changes, Laos is facing economic growth.
An economy experiences economic growth when there is an increase in the output of goods and services by a nation over time, or also an increase in the per capita income of a nation. Because unemployment rate is low, GDP growth rate is high, as the CIA World Factbook states that GDP growth rate is 8.3% in Laos. Increasing GDP rate is a positive growth to a nation because GDP measures the monetary value of all goods and services produced within a country in a specific time period.
Economic growth can also be shown on several graphs, including the business cycle, PPC curve, and ADAS curves. Here we can see all the shifts caused by economic growth. So, what is the source of this rapid economic growth in Laos? Looking at the data from CIA World Factbook, Laos' economic growth is more likely to be a result from physical capital and technology. 11.47% of Laos' GDP is made up from government spending, which indicates that the government is putting effort to help the nation develop. Also, Laos has been adapting new technologies such as dams. The more dams Laos builds, the more job opportunities, hence decrease in unemployment rate. Obviously, economic growth will result with higher income and greater output. But there are a few consequences that can be caused by economic growth. These are externalities, structural unemployment, composition of output, unequal distribution of income, and inflation. One of the consequences of economic growth is inflation. To a nation, having a high inflation rate is harmful because inflation is the increase in average price level of goods and services in a nation over time. Laos' inflation level is 6.5%, which is considered to be high in most nations. At this point of inflation level, most households rush to buy cheap products on a particular day because they know the price will rise the next, or they wait until the price drops to buy products. Theory: when aggregate demand falls, unemployment increases and inflation decreases. And when aggregate demand rises, unemployment decreases and inflation increases. The graph that represents the relationship of unemployment and inflation is called a Phillips curve. Laos' current economy fits into the theory and Phillips curve. There is something called the Gini index, and Laos has a number of 36.74. What does this number represent? There's one last macroeconomic objective which I did not mention yet. There's equity. The equity in income distribution. The Gini number represents the inequality in the distribution of income of a nation. A Lorenz curve plots the cumulative percentages of total income received against the cumulative number of recipients from the poorest individual or household. In conclusion, Laos is still in progress of achieving the four macroeconomic objectives.